Hey kids, welcome to Unit 2, Lesson 9, Mutator Methods, exercise number 7. We're going to go ahead and take care of exercise 6 and 7 just like we did in Lesson 8. Let's jump into our Pi class. We're going to write the mutator method for the instance variables in the Pi and dessert class. Then in a food truck runner, we're going to instantiate a Pi object. And we're going to use the scanner class to prompt a user to enter some new values and update those instance variables. We have a little how do we do that down here. I think we can take care of this ourselves. First thing, let's talk mutator methods. What does a mutator method do? In lesson 7, we did accessor methods or get methods. What that let me do was see various attributes or instance variables of the object outside of the class. It is really helpful to know what's been inputted or what's even there. Well, if we can see what's in the class, what happens if we want to change what's been put in the class? That's what a mutator method is. This is commonly referred to as a set method. We have a get method to get the information, a set method to set the information. The mutator method changes the value assigned to an instance variable. How do we write one? First, we want the access set to public outside the class. We don't actually want to return anything. We want to do something. So we're going to use void. We're going to take what the instance variable is. In my example up here, it's age. I'm going to put the set word in front of it. So set age. We're going to have our parentheses. And inside those parentheses, we first want to match the data type of the instance variable. In my example here, it is an integer, and we want to match the instance variable name. In this example, it's age. And just like our constructor, we're going to use this keyword to refer to the current object we're talking about. And we're going to set the current instance variable to whatever is being passed along. That's it. Let's go ahead and write this for our dessert and Pi class. First in our dessert, we have to write one for flavor and price. And let's comment this out. We are going to set flavor. And in this one, again, we want public access, void, because we don't want to return anything. We want to do something. Our instance variable is named flavor, so I'm going to set the flavor. We're going to do some parentheses and some curly cues. Inside here, we want to match the same data type. It is a string. The variable is called flavor. And then we just want to say all this flavor equal flavor. And we just want to make sure we're setting the current object. Well, that's flavor. We got to do one for price. Set price. Again, public access, void. We don't return. This is a price, so we're going to set the price. Parentheses, curly cues. Inside here, we want to match the data type. Price is a double. The instance variable name is price. We want to refer to this object, so this price equal price. That's our instance variables for dessert. For Pi, we're going to come down here. This is going to set method. We're dealing with an integer diameter. Let's give ourselves a little room. Public access. Void is a return type. It is a diameter, so we want to set the diameter. Some parentheses and some curly cues. Inside our diameter, we have to match the data type. It is an integer. It is diameter. And we just want to say this diameter equal diameter. We're going to check our spelling. It looks pretty good there. We have a set method now that can set or change our instance variables. So we're not locked into the one thing a user inputs. What's an example of that? Well, this right here. We're going to go to our food truck and we are going to use our scanner class to change our instance variables. And this is a great example of something you might want to do. If you have a food truck, you might want to change the menu. First, let's check our set methods. We can do that by instantiating an object. We're going to do a dessert This one is going to be an ice cream. It's going to be equal a new dessert. And our flavor will make it a delicious rocky road. And how much do I want to pay for it? I'm pretty cheap, so 99 cents. We can check this. I can do a system.out.println, and I can say a flavor, and we can get our flavor from our get flavor method. And when I hit run, I should get my flavor, Rocky Road. Ooh, that's a misspelling. Rocky Road. We should get Rocky Road to print down here. Well, let's see if we're right. We get Rocky Road. Now we can check this by using our set method. We're going to call from our ice cream object. We're going to call our set flavor method. We need to pass along the correct data type, which is a string. Let's change it to my favorite flavor, banana. Now, when I hit run, I should get banana to print instead of Rocky Road. Let's go ahead and hit run. And I get banana. That's pretty fun, but the set method is a lot more helpful if the user can actually set the methods. Let's go ahead and comment this out. This will be some old code. Now we're going to use the scanner class to get information from the user instead of how we're doing it now. The neat thing about the scanner class, it can prompt a user for information. You can store that information and do all kinds of neat things towards it. It's pretty easy to use. There is one little edge case we're going to run into today, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. The best way to understand the scanner class is first looking through the documentation and seeing exactly how it works. We're just going to go ahead, jump in, and start coding. First thing we need to do is we need to ask a user a question. We're going to go system.out.println, and we're going to ask, enter a new flavor. When I hit run, you're going to see I'm going to get enter a new flavor down here. And I can actually store that information, and there's a command for that. What we first need to do is we need to create a variable to store it. So create a variable to store the information. That one is going to be a string, because a flavor is a string. We have to match our data types. I'm just going to call this a new flavor, and this is going to be equal to, and if you look up here, we created a new scanner object already. The name of this scanner object is input. We're going to use input because that's what the scanner object is storing as, and we're going to get everything on the line. And we do that by using the command next line. This will actually store that information. So when I go ahead and hit run, it's going to say enter a new flavor. And I can write whatever I want. Now, one little thing here, I like just print instead of println. I like my cursor to be right at the end here. Just makes it a little easier for the user to use. Once I go ahead and get that information, now I have to set the new information. And how do I do that? I'm going to go from my object, ice cream. I'm going to do a set flavor, just like I did before. Now I'm not going to pass a word. I'm going to pass that variable, new flavor. It's not in quotes because we want to pass the actual variable. And just like we did up here, we set the flavor. Now let's go ahead and print it off. Print the, our project stopped running there. Print the new flavor. We're going to do a system.out.println, and we're going to go new flavor is, program keeps stopping on me. We got our colon and a space. Now we're going to concatenate plus, And we're going to call the same thing from above. Ice cream, get flavor. Now whatever I put in here should print off. So let's go ahead and hit run. Enter a new flavor. Let's go ahead and put cherry. My new flavor is cherry. So that's how we use the set method. We can go ahead and continue our little story here. And really asking the question and storing the information kind of goes along together. We should comment this out. Ask the user a question. So we're going to do the same thing again. Now, instead of flavor, let's do price. Ask the user about price. And we'll do a system.out.println. And we're going to say, how much would you like to pay? Again, we don't want the ln because we want to be on the same line. After that, we got to store that information. We're going to say creates a variable to store price. And this is flavor. Better comments for a better program. Down here, we're going to do the same thing. This time, a price is a double. So we're going to do double. We're going to do new price. This is going to be equal to our input again, whatever the user's typing in. We want to get the entire next line, but this time it's a double, so it's next double. Don't forget your parentheses and your semicolon. Now we're going to come down here and set our new price, ice cream dot set price, and that's going to be a new price. Now we want to print off the new price. We're going to say system.out.println. You only want to pay, question mark, we'll do a space, ice cream dot get price. Let's go ahead and hit run and see if our program works. Enter a new flavor. I'm going to say Choco. How much would you like to pay? I'm cheap. I only pay 99 cents for my Choco ice cream. And we can see your new flavor is Choco. You only want to pay 99 cents. Pretty good. That takes care of these two. Now we want to come down here and we want to change one for our pie. So let's do a system.out.print. And let's just say, wait, before you go, would you like a pie? And then we'll do, on another line, we'll do system.out.println. And we'll say, well, let's do this one on a different line and this on its own line. How big would you like your pie? And this time we're storing an integer. So we have to go through and do our same steps from above. So this asks the question. Now after we ask the question, we have to store the diameter. And how do we do that? Well, first, we need to instantiate an object, right? We don't have an object to do any of this. So let's go up here under our dessert and let's make a pie. And we're going to call this a lime. This is going to equal a new pie. And on this one, we still have to pass a flavor. I'm going to put lime. A cost, it's still a double, and this time a diameter, and we'll say 5. I'm going to change this now to a lemon down here, but it's called a lime pie. Let's go back down. We're going to store an integer here, so we're going to say int new diameter is going to be equal to an input. And this time we're going to get the next int. Now that we got that piece of information, we have to go ahead and store it. So set new diameter. And we're going to go from that lime object, we're going to go set diameter. And we're going to pass along the new diameter. Now we want to print off the new value. Give ourselves a little room here. System.out.println. We'll go, wow, your new pi is. And then we're going to concatenate. We're going to call from our lime. We're going to get our new diameter. And then we'll go big. And that should finish it off. I'm going to show you one more edge case after this, but let's go ahead and finish off this lesson first. Let's go ahead and hit run. Enter a new flavor. For my dessert, I'm going to say I want a strawberry ice cream. How much would I like to pay? I don't like to pay anything. And you could say, wow, you only want to pay 99 cents. Wait, before you go, would you like a pie? Of course I would like a pie. How big would you like your pie? Well, I would love it 24 inches. And it says, wow, your new pie is 24 big. I guess we should put inches in there. That'll make it make a little more sense. And that's pretty much how we wrap up this lesson. There is one edge case that can happen, and this happens after you ask a int question to store. So watch what happens if I want to go and ask a new question. Ask a new question, and we'll do system.out.println, and I'm going to go, would you also like a new flavor for your pie? And again, we don't want that ln because we want it on the same line. Now if I go to store that same information, so now I need to store the new flavor, and I'm going to do that. It's going to be a string, and we're going to call it new pie flavor. And that's going to be equal to an input on the entire next line. Now that we did that, now we have to set the new flavor. So we're going to go lime.setFlavor. We're going to pass along new pie flavor. Now that we did that, we can print off the new value. So system.out.println, and we're going to say, your new flavor is, and then we'll concatenate again, and we're going to do our lime get flavor. But watch what happens when it goes to input my next part. Let's go ahead and hit run. Enter a new flavor. We'll do Choco. How much would I like to pay? 99 cents. How big would I like my new pie? We'll say 6 inches. And my program ends. I can't enter what I want to now. Why is that happening? Well, this is a case whenever we have a storing an int and we're looking for a string. We haven't opened it up asking to look for the string, so it just jumps over it. And it looks for it on line 67. So what we have to do here is we have to open that up. And we just have to do an input, and we have to do a next line. Now that should tell the computer, hey, I want you to open up, look for some string text before you end. Let's see if I'm right. Enter a new flavor. We'll go Choco again, 99 cents. How big would I like my pie? 6 inches. Would you like a new flavor for my pie? I would. I want to say key lime. My new flavor is key lime. This is just a helpful hint. If you run into your scanner class skipping, usually you just need to put an input next line to open it up for a string. I think that's all for this lesson. There's a couple key takeaways from this lesson. First is understanding what a mutator method is, and that changes the value assigned to an instance variable. How do we write it? Our accessor method is public. We're going to write void because we don't want to return anything. In my method here, my instance variable is age, so I'm going to put the word set in front of that instance variable, set age. I'm going to do some parentheses. Inside there, I need to match the data type of my private instance variable. In this case, it's an integer. Then I'm going to pass along the same variable, age. I'm going to use this keyword to refer to this object I'm working on, and I'm just going to set this age to the age I'm passing along. The next is using the scanner class. First is fundamentally understanding what's going on. The scanner enables you to store user input. The scanner is a class just like the painter class. In the documentations here, you can see under the scanner class, there's a whole lot of things that it can do. Specifically for this class, we're going to be using the next boolean, next double, next int, next line, and close. What those essentially do is just store all the information on that line the user inputs. I like to think of next just meaning everything after this. And then we match the data type. For strings, it's line, ints, it's integer, double, it's double. Remember, there is an edge case when we skip a line, and that happens usually after we read an int value. How do we get around that? Well, we just put an input.nextLine ahead of it. That tells the scanner, hey, the user's about to input something. Check right here. Hopefully this video, though, helped you understand the mutator method a little better. As always, kids, if you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. See you other kids. Bye, bye, bye.